brought on a couple of unique people here. We just recently torched the sleeves off of Randy's jacket here.
Well, Sally handed me his jacket, and she's like, "Well, you got to wear this." I'm like, "It's hot in here. Like, I can't put a jacket
way
on."
Too warm in this place.
We fixed it.
So this is my buddy Randy Nessman. Randy and I run a podcast together called Off the Husk. Over here on the end is Mitchell Hora. He's a co-host of mine on another podcast called Fieldwork Podcast that we do in conjunction with Minnesota Public Radio. Mitchell, you want to talk a little bit about that? Explain to them what the Fieldwork Podcast is like?
Sure, yeah, just podcasting for days, jeez.
For days, yeah.
But my name is Mitchell Hora. I'm a farmer from Iowa. But Fieldwork is a podcast about sustainable agriculture, but coming from conventional farmers. And so really just showing the pros and cons to sustainable agriculture, that it's not all flowers and butterflies, that it can be a little tough. There's some challenges to overcome. It's different for everybody, but let's have an open conversation so we can continue to move in the right direction.
Yeah, the objective is always the same. I mean, everybody wants healthy soil and clean water, as we say all the time. That's what everybody wants, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't, the management that gets you there doesn't look the same for every farm. And then the real struggle comes in when it comes to, as we are always talking about on the podcast, the profitability side of it and the logistics side of it, and trying to make those things work for people. So you do a lot of work with Continuum Ag, which is your business down in Iowa, where you actually work with guys on stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and the whole point there is sustainability doesn't matter if the farm isn't economically sustainable.
Right.
And so, so I've got a soil health data analytics company, Continuum Ag, where we're trying to put some data behind soil health and sustainability, but meeting a farmer where they're at, which is, how do I just manage my fertility better today? How do I make better decisions today? And we can work towards some long-term sustainability goals, but I've got to be able to make money right now.
Otherwise, the long-term goals don't matter.
Yeah, they don't matter. If you
have to
go
get
out
there.
of business, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
At what cost?
Yeah, at what cost?
Yeah.
So there's some developments being made, and we're going to talk about that here today, too. I got to jump on a panel here this afternoon, so going to talk a little bit more about that, but there's a long way to go in terms of what's sustainability going to really mean. How do we shape this out? How do we bring value to everybody?
Yeah, well, like you said, what's it really going to mean? That's another thing as well, is that it means something different to just about everybody, right? But in the end, the intentions are all the same. I mean, everybody wants what's best for the natural resources.
Right. Yeah. We all want what's best. I think that's the key thing that we have to factor in here is, like, farmers want to take care of the soil, and they're doing that to the best of their ability, taking care of their land, taking care of the air, and we can continue to improve upon that. Of course, we always can, but some of that can be a little risky. It can take some money.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Down
trying
times
to,
right now, it's a little scary.
it's really
Yeah.
tough
Jump
to
into.
change. Really
Yeah.
tough to change.
It's not an easy time to just jump in and invest into something that you don't
Nope.
have experience in.
Not at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
But hoping to use data to help get there and use the network.
Yeah, yeah. Randy here actually farms just down the road from me, works for a couple of farmers there. Tell him a little bit about what you do.
We farm, a couple brothers and a son, and then starting a partnership in a little bit with that. And then we run a drain tile business, drain tile. So it's pretty much what we do. We farm and drain tile.
Farm and drain tile, which works out really well because you've got a pretty large drain tile outfit.
Yeah.
Pretty large crew, guys that know what they're doing. I mean, as long as the soil's not frozen, that thing is moving.
Right.
No matter what time of year it is.
Yep, we shut down the spring. We all got to help with the planting. Shut down again in the fall. We all got to help with the harvest. But if we get a couple rain days in there, we jump back in that tile plow and keep it moving.
In our part of the world, that's really a really good side business that works well with your farm, because you can tile your own stuff, which you probably don't do much of because you're too busy.
We try to set out one project a year to get done. Some years it gets done, some years it doesn't.
On your own.
On our
land.
own,
Yeah.
And then the rest of it's custom. So 95% of what we do is custom.
Yeah. So then you're so busy with that, and you've got the guys there, and then you can take those guys and you can use them, like you say, on the farm when you need them.
And two other guys that help on the tiling farm themselves with their parents.
Okay.
So they also leave and go to their farm.
Yep.
So it works out well. We generally, they might be gone another day longer than us. We'll go work a short crew for a day or two until everyone's back, and it's a good balance.
So then everybody's got that ag background, and everybody kind of knows what's going on.
Right. Yep.
So we host a different podcast called Off the Husk, which is totally different than the Fieldwork podcast that Mitchell and I do together.
Yep.
I have drank way more beer on one of those than the other one, and I won't talk about which one it is.
I've drank way more beer in the basement of your house than ever before.
Because
also,
of this
because
podcast.
of the podcast, yeah.
So there's new records being set every day.
That's awesome.
I did take notice last time we had one there. I think there was a case and a half of empty beer cans on the table, and yet nobody wanted to take the last slice of pizza.
Yeah.
I think it's still sitting there.
Eating pizza, drinking beer on a podcast.
Well, that's how the issues get solved, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's how we work it out.
But they usually stay pretty egg-based,
Yes,
kind of.
that's the Well, that's the thing, is that it's centered around egg. The
Yep.
idea is, let's take the shop talk, and let's bring it
Right.
into the basement, and then we'll throw my wife in there to mediate things,
Yeah,
so it
yeah.
doesn't get too out of hand.
Yep.
Right?
And if it goes to, off-brand peanut butter or name brand, I mean, that happens.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys end up making fun of my tender feet and the fact that I have to wear Crocs around my house
Yes.
so my feet don't hurt, then so be it.
Yeah, that happens.
That's also part of the issues
Yeah.
when it comes to farming.
Yep.
So where do you think, I'll start with Randy, where do you think or where do you hope Off the Husk goes from here? And how are you enjoying it? Did you ever think that...
No.
I don't think you knew what a podcast was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I'd never listened to one. I mean, I kind of knew what a podcast, like people are downloading a radio show and then people listen to it? Like, that's weird, But no, yeah, I had no idea. It's fun. Hope it continues.
Yeah.
Having fun doing it. It's really fun coming here. And I got guys, yesterday the guy come up and was telling me, we're finishing combine yesterday. I'm in the grain cart, and I'm dumping the grain cart, and I'm just laughing hysterically. And his brother gets on the radio like, well, what's so funny? This day's terrible, like on. And he says, well, I'm listening to these guys off the Husk, and they're talking about a guy who got his leg stuck in a pipe. So when you hear stories like that come back to it,
Right.
Yeah, it's fun.
Stories that actually come from our farms.
Right, it's things things that happen, and yeah.
Is there a topic yet that we haven't hit? Because, well, we don't have that many episodes out yet, but, I mean, what do you have in your head for a topic or a guest that you would like to bring in?
I know one I'd like to bring in is DJ. He's my right hand man.
He's
at
the guy
work.
that stepped
He's
in
the
the
guy
pipe.
that stepped in the pipe. There's usually there's a lot of things that go on there. He's quite a character, and the stories can go on and on.
Yep.
Yeah. It might get too long of a podcast would be the issue.
Well, we could break it up.
Yeah, we got to cut her down.
Mitchell, when it comes to the Fieldwork podcast, we've talked about a lot of different subjects on there. We've definitely had more episodes of that than we have of Off the Husk. But, I mean, what do you have when it comes to high-level topics? What are some goal issues that you want to talk about, or big guests that we haven't had that you'd like to talk with?
Yeah. No, we've released 12 or 15 episodes maybe in like one season. We've had one season. We're recording season 2, so that'll come out in another couple months, I think.
Yep,
We don't know. Zach and I don't get to make those decisions. We just go and talk. We just go out there and talk about farming.
Yeah.
But
we're the talent.
we're the the talent. So no, I mean, we're really focused on the sustainability side. For me, it's how do we really make money in doing that, or how do we make it profitable for a farmer to be able to adopt these things and adopt sustainable agriculture. So to me, it all boils down to that. So I want to dig more into what are some of those more emerging opportunities for farmers to fit into sustainability supply chains, to fit into carbon markets or other ecosystem markets, stuff like that I think can really drive, like, how do we overcome that economic risk of change?
Yeah.
There's some things emerging, but they've got a long way to go. So I think we can help to be a part of the conversation so that as these markets emerge, they're done the right way.
When you think about ag going forward into the future and the stuff you were just talking about and the stuff that you work with things like Continuum Ag and Fieldwork, and you come to conferences like this and you hear all the chatter about, using the buzzwords like sustainability, organic, finding these niche markets and the premiums that you can find in some of these other ways to grow crops or other crops. I mean, do you think that in the next 20 years we're going to see some pretty big changes within ag surrounding those topics?
I think so, but I think it comes from being able to actually back that up and actually bring value. So the key thing there is
to be able to prove
that there's something there that's
Sure.
worth.
It's not just fluff.
Yeah, it's not just fluff, So the value prop at a high level, I think, is there. The value proposition, I think, is there. But being able to back that up with data that, hey, we actually are improving the water. We actually are improving flood mitigation. We actually are improving our carbon footprint or whatever the consumer wants, but we can back those things up to take it from just a buzzword to something that really brings value.
Yeah.
Right now, I think some of these companies are like, well, the consumer's not going to pay for sustainability. Well, right now, of course not. There's nothing there for them to like pay anything more for.
It's still kind of in the process of being refined to figure
We don't
out exactly.
even necessarily know what all it is.
Yeah,
Like,
how does this process work?
Yeah.
What's going to work? What exactly do people want?
well, and yeah, what's going to be the metrics? And because it's going to be different everywhere. It's not a one size fits all.
Right.
So I think it's a little bit more complex, a little bit more dynamic. So I think we're going to have some evolution with that to help to put a little bit more bargaining power in the hands of a farmer. So it's not just everyone's the same.
If you could have any podcast guest on, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
You better go first.
Oh gosh.
Randy needs thinking time.
I do.
He's slow today. Is that water in there?
I was slow yesterday also.
And you'll probably be slow tomorrow.
Yes.
I don't know who would have on. First thing that came to mind was Chuck Norris. I think we could ball out with Chuck Norris for a while. We were talking about Joe
I'll
Rogan.
message him.
Yeah.
We'll get this
he
set
did.
up.
We were talking about Joe Rogan and how when we overcome his podcast and we're number one.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll
Right.
want to come on ours after that.
Yeah, he's been trying to get in touch.
He's
with
been
us,
trying to
but
get
you know
on
how
ours.
he
We're
is.
like, nah, get in line, man. Get
Yeah.
in line. So
Yeah.
I would go back like.
the fan crew.
So nice to meet you.
Do you have one of those like? Do you have one like that for me?
I
Yeah, there you go.
You can have this one.
I wanted my face.
he wants the rigid one.
Oh yeah.
How wonderful.
I would go
Look
back.
at that. That is truly
That's like
terrifying.
the best souvenir ever.
That's coming with us tonight.
That way when I sneak out, nobody will know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're gone.
I'm taking this home and I'm stapling it to the wall next to my wife's side of the bed. So no matter which way she rolls over, it's just,
I guess if I had to pick somebody, I'd go way back, like George Washington or Lincoln, and then
Yep.
be like, hey, we're on a podcast, like
Right.
You know, I mean, just
which they'd get it.
well, yeah, I mean, but to take their perspective of what would go on the next 100 years,
Right.
200 years.
I think that'd be a long conversation.
Oh yeah, it would. It'd be interesting.
The
So,
tough part would
dead
be
or
like
alive, yeah.
Abe Lincoln's hat would keep hitting the mic. You'd have to
Yes.
Abe, you gotta
Well,
take that off.
and when those guys just drink you guys under the table too.
You're
Like,
probably
that's,
right.
that's gonna be the problem.
You
They
call
didn't
this
have
beer?
clean water back then.
No. That's
They
awesome.
wouldn't appreciate Miller Lite.
I don't know.
Who would?
Well, PBR. George Washington.
Well played.
George Washington invented PBR. I'm pretty sure. So I think you'd have to have that. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I gotta say, I'd split the difference, and I'd probably go. I would go with my. Trying to think how far back this is. This would be my great grandpa, who originally came over from Sweden and homesteaded our family farm.
Yeah,
That's who
pretty
I would
cool.
want to sit down.
Yeah,
with.
that'd be pretty cool.
It'd be cool, even just if you're going back in time like that. Just show them what it is now.
Yeah.
Show 'em what
Bring
you've
them out
done.
there like, Gramps. If you push this button, this tractor will go from one end to the other.
Yeah. And he might say, like, 150 years and this is all you've done?
I thought we were supposed to have flying tractors.
Yeah, come on.
Where are your cover crops? We talked about this in the 1800s.
Yeah. We had this all figured out a long time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
You don't have a carbon market figured out yet? What the heck?
You got all this data.
What are you
coming
waiting
at
for?
you. Yeah. Well, it's been good having you guys on. Mitchell Hora, Randy Nessman with Off the Husk and the Fieldwork podcast, co-hosts of mine. So thank you guys for joining us here.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us
a lot,
on.
Zach. Yeah.